Hello, hello, I'm Squallcasting, and I'm bringing to you some more StarCraft action. This was a community game. This fellow here, Dirtypeasant, submitted me this game, so thank you for sending it to me. He is in the Platinum League, and he plays as random in 1v1, so props to him. Playing as random can be a little bit unsettling at times, just because you don't get as much experience with each individual race. And it can be harder. And his opponent is Nightmare, with amusing capitalization. I'm not even going to try to say that. Usually I would, but no, not even going to try. I have changed my recording setup very slightly, and I'm hoping that it will reduce or eliminate some of the background noise that's been showing up in some of my videos, like the computer fans going, the clicking, etc. So please leave comments in the comment section below if you do notice a change, and if there isn't, well, oh well. So yeah, okay, so Dirtypeasant has not yet started building a spawning pool or anything, so to me it looks like it's going to be a hatch first build based on what he's doing. And it looks like Nightmare has an inkling of that. He is going to block that with his probe on multiple patrol points. Actually, I think when he's down here, the hatchery could potentially go down. So we'll see if Pheasant's able to pull that off. And no, Pheasant's actually throwing down a spawning pool quite late. But just wanted to get a lot of drones up before he did that. And yeah, it looks like Nightmare did close off that patrol a little bit to be a bit more efficient in that regard. As my computer drops some frames, not sure why. And Nightmare is making a forge on the high ground, interestingly enough. And it looks like he does want to forge fast expand, but starting it up there, that's an interesting choice. Typically you'd see them start the pylon here, then maybe wall across here, or even just wall the ramp. Walling the ramp would probably be the more typical choice, actually. And Nightmare is saving up a lot of minerals, so it looks like he is going to go for that Nexus first. And oh, just gets the pylon block off. Dirtypeasant can't be terribly happy about that. Why am I saying pheasant? Peasant. I think I've been saying pheasant the entire time. A pheasant is a type of bird. A peasant is an ancient medieval term for somebody who didn't own property or land, or generally had a horrible life because the nobles had all the money and stuff. Oh man. For any of you who complain about your life sucking and how your parents don't give you anything, yeah, go back in time and live as a peasant. You will come back here and you will never complain again. Now, we do have a bit of drone blocking going on of the Nexus, so that's kind of fun. And the peasant is running away. I'm a bit sad to see that. I think he could have stayed there a bit longer and continued to block, but he decides he's happy with what he's accomplished and runs on away. And Nightmare starting with a kind of an odd wall in, but I guess that'll do the job. So long as you're safe, it really doesn't matter too terribly much. And Peasant himself, I said it right that time, Peasant is also taking his expansion, and he does have a Roach Warren coming up, so that could be to be safe, or it could be that he wants to go into some kind of aggression, maybe get lots of roaches out and try to break this wall. And since this wall is here instead of at the ramp, roaches will have a much easier time breaking through that if he so chooses, simply because they can walk all the way up here and get a really nice concave on all those units. Let's take a look at the production for Nightmare. Just getting another Nexus, another gateway, I should say, and getting his gas super duper late. That was a very, very late gas. Wow, well, I guess when you're forge fast expanding, it would be that late. I forge fast expanded a few times when I was playing as Protoss on the ladder, but not enough to really remember the timings. But Nightmare's Nexus is up now. There is a pretty hefty push coming out here with a decent number of Zerglings and 2 roaches. And these hotkeys amuse me. He's got almost every hotkey set up as his hatcheries, so that way he never ever misses a larvae inject or building units. And Nightmare just adding on a few more photon cannons up at the front, interestingly enough. I would argue that's not the best positioning for it. It could be that he hasn't done the forge fast expand that much, so he's not used to placing the buildings. But in general, you want your cannons tucked behind something, so that way they're safe. When they're out in the open like this, roaches can deal with them very effectively. And here we go. Zerglings swing on in, pick off the Zealot, And this cannon gonna die. Peasant pulls on back. Looks like he still wants to try to pressure this and deal some damage. And yeah, with where these cannons are right now, they can be attacked. And there's nothing that Nightmare can do to hit him. Wow. So Nightmare definitely in a bit of a bind. Just continue to add on more and more cannons. And he might just straight up lose this Nexus. And, well, it'll take a while to die, that's for sure. But Nightmare's going to need to get out a bunch of stuff in a real hurry if he wants any chance of keeping that Nexus alive. That Nexus is being focus fired, so this Zealot might take out a few roaches before it gets noticed, and Peasant needs to micro this just a little bit better. Pull that roach back and at least kill the Zealot. Oh, Peasant, man. I guess he's trying to macro behind it. There we go. Finally reacts, kills the Zealot. And if he controls this correctly, he could still kill this Nexus, but looks like he might want to pull back or potentially try to pick off more cannons. Here come two more Zealot Zerglings. Move up to the front to tank damage and protect the roaches. And Peasant, for the moment, just content to, at the very least, just keep Nightmare from being able to saturate that base. Picks off another Zealot. Might get another one here. Rallying in more roaches. This roach takes a ton of damage before it gets past. And Peasant definitely dealing a nice bit of economic damage to Nightmare. Let's take a look at the worker counts here. Nightmare does have 21 probes, but Peasant only has 18 drones, and he has cut his drone production like crazy to do all this aggression. We have 4 Overlords moving out here. That's a bit of a mistake. He'll probably pull those back. And yeah, might just outright lose a roach run again. Nope, not quite. And yeah, so not sure how this will work out for Peasant. I mean, yes, he is delaying this Nexus's use for a long time, but he's not getting economically ahead in the process. And as Zerg, you need to be up in drones over a Protos's pylon, or not pylon, probe count. But still dealing damage, might still kill that. It's losing a lot of health, but there are a decent number of Stalkers coming out now. And yeah, those roaches getting trapped in a horrible position. They're not all attacking. They're all going to die. And Peasant not quite accomplishing that much with that attack, but at the very least delayed Nightmare's ability to saturate that base for a very, very long time. So some good early aggression as that Overlord freezes while exploding. Wow, my computer's dropping a lot of frames today. It's a little bit weird. Could be I have a little bit too much stuff open in the background. My Google Chrome tab, or my Google Chrome has something like 15 tabs open right now. Why are there drones moving across the middle of the map? Did he rally his... okay. He must have accidentally maybe right-clicked on a mineral patch with his hatchery. Or, you know what? He might have made a big round of roaches like this once they were all in the eggs, and then just right-clicked here and forgot that they were actually drones in those eggs rather than, you know, roaches. Anyways, so... both players kind of equalizing out. Peasant is getting ahead slightly in the economy now. Let's take a look at the productions. We do have a robo facility coming up. And pathogen glands, I believe that's Overlord transportation. Yes, it is. Okay. So we could see some Overlord dropping, or not drop, speed, Overlord speed. Or, wait a sec. Pathogen glands. Wow, okay, yes, it's Infestor Energy. I knew that all along. I was testing your knowledge of the game. That's right. Anyways, so yes, Infestor Energy upgrade coming out now, as well as Roach movement speed, Zergling move speed as well, and +1 armor. So, looks like Peasant wants to do just a Zergling Roach composition for the time being, with a few Infestors added on, and, you know, it's a nice, simple mix that can move around the map pretty quick. So we'll see how that works out for him. Nightmare does look like he wants to be a little bit aggressive here as he has a forward pylon. He's got a force there. Looks like he might want to push in on that third, and we'll see if he's able to get it. Does Peasant have any standing arm right now? He has 8 Zerglings. That's not going to be enough, so he's definitely in some trouble. He's going to need to produce a lot of roaches. He should make all these drones into roaches right now, or Zerglings at least. And you're going to lose quite a few drones here, but since Nightmare is not focusing on the hatchery, this may buy Peasant the time he needs to save it. We'll see if it works out for him, though. These Zerglings are moving back, and they don't have speed. Oh, it's going to bite him in the butt for sure, and yeah, I think this base is going to die. Yep, not quite able to get out stuff in time. Does have a lot of Zerglings now, but doesn't have speed, which really reduces their effectiveness so very much. Very, very unfortunate outcome for Peasant. But Speed's going to finish up in just a second here, and once that's done, he might be able to flood in and just kill this entire army. And while that would be beneficial for him, he did lose a base in the process, so we'll see if he goes for it. I feel like he really should, but Nightmare's pulling back. And yeah, Peasant just content to sit for the time being, doesn't want to risk that army, or now he does. Here we go, and oh, but he's not there in time. If he had moved out 10 seconds earlier, he would have caught that army and potentially killed off a lot of it. Does manage to find the forward pylon and probe, so he will get those, but definitely not an even trade for the loss of a hatchery and, you know, a number of drones. So nicely played by Nightmare earlier on, and he's falling back to his base, taking out these rocks, wants to secure his third. Definitely has the minerals to do so now, although he is a fair bit behind in supply to Peasant. And, oh, Peasant might have a beat on this. The rocks just went down. The Zerglings are all here. Ooh, I don't know. We'll see how this works out. Zerglings running on up. There they go, attacking. Oh, but decides to run away immediately. He only had +1 armor. The enemy army had +1 attack, but there were a lot of cannons there, so I feel like if he had maybe just parked outside here for a while and waited for the army to move out, that could have worked out a lot better, but in any case, Nightmare does have a observer out now, so he's going to go check out the tech. And Peasant's still just on Roaches, Lings, and Infestor tech. So we'll see if he moves into anything else at any point. Is starting to get some Infestors out now, so we'll be able to do those oh so very important fungals. And we have a hatchery going down now, and that's weird. That looks very odd with the creep kind of on the outside here. I feel that might be a vision issue, because the creep would not have receded in that way. Oh, you know what? I think it's fully receded, but then the... I don't know why it was appearing like that. Okay, there. Now it's disappearing now that this drone's moving up and seeing that's not there. That was very odd. Anyways, the fun of replays. So let's take a look. So we do have melee, not melee, range attack upgrades coming for the Roaches, so that'll make them able to hit a little bit harder. Ooh, and a Dark Shrine for Nightmare. Now, I don't know how well that will work out, as Peasant is on that Lair tech. He does have Infestors as well. If the fungal growth can hit the Dark Templar, it will decloak them and then immobilize them as usual. So, if Peasant is able to watch carefully, he'll be able to see those DT ripples and then potentially fungal them and then just kill them. This could also be just that Nightmare wants to get Archons. Archons are very good against Zerg units because Archons deal bonus damage to biological, and all of Zerg units are biological. And Nightmare just constructing a wall here. Very nice, but Peasant looks like he wants to go on the aggressive again. The Observer does spot that, so Nightmare will be ready. Moving back a little bit, so he's behind that wall. And, well, we'll see how well this works out. Not the best engagement for Peasant, as my computer freezes for a second. There we go. But he does get Fungals down. That army's very clumped up. Some Force Fields going down, but not really zoning out any Zerglings. A few infested Terrans going down. More Fungals. Oh, this is looking a bit bad for Nightmare. The Roaches aren't quite able to engage in right now, though. And there we go. Now the Roach is able to attack in. And a lot of blows being traded, a lot of things dying, but there is a DT in the mix now. Let's find that and watch how many kills it gets. And I don't think Peasant has caught sight of it. And yeah, these DTs are just killing everything, and Peasant doesn't know they're there. I feel like he has to have heard the swooshing sound at the least. He is pulling back a little bit. I hope he throws down a fungal to catch those, but oh, looks like he's not gonna. I'm just gonna lose a lot of units for free, basically. And those Dark Templar are just doing work for Nightmare. They are the only reason he is still alive. If he didn't have Dark Templar, it would pretty much be over for him at this point. But those Dark Templar are slicing apart everything. Oh, and yeah, Peasant doesn't have the energy left for any Fungals. He burned all the energy on infested Terrans. Definitely a mistake on his part. Now, is he making an Overseer? He is making some Squallcasting. I think I saw Overseers morphing. Yeah, he's got, wow, 4 Overseers. He really wants to be sure he can see stuff. You should definitely move those up front. There we go. 2 moving forward. So these DTs will get picked off. Is he making a Sport here? Yes, he is. But that will probably get killed pretty darn quick. Trying to block it a bit with the Queen, or just running the Queen away in general. But he does have vision now, thanks to those Overseers, and those DTs will die. Will they kill the hatchery? I don't think so, but wow, that was close. DTs deal so much damage. And that was literally all of Nightmare's DTs, and the only army he has left is one Immortal, and now warping in 4 more DTs, so he's going fully into the invisible units are better than visible units sort of mentality. Okay, made 3 Zealots as well. But, yeah, it looks like he wants to continue the DT aggression. I don't know how well this will work, given that there are Overseers on the map now. What he should probably do at this point is split up the DTs, and then send like 1 DT here, 1 DT here. And then that way Peasant has to spend lots of time moving things around and trying to get Overseers at all the bases. But for now, it looks like he's content to just park the 4 DTs there. Could be he wants to do a backstab with them later when Peasant moves out to attack. Peasant does have 2 more Overseers here. It would be great to see him go and park those above hatcheries just to stay safe. And 4 more Overlords just cruising around the middle of the map. He just likes having these little Overlord parties where they just all hang out together. That's kind of fun. Now we do have ground armor 2 coming up for the Zerg, and 7 more Infestors. Really wants to replenish that Infestor count as he lost the bulk majority of them in that attack. 9 more Infestors, wow. And Nightmare is just replenishing with Immortals. He does have a decent number of Zealots now, and he does have charge on them. So that makes them quite effective, and 2-1-1 for the upgrades, and some sentries. So quite a nice force for dealing with Roaches, really. The Zealots charge forward, and just kind of pin the Roaches there. You can throw force fields behind them, and then the Immortals just absolutely shred the Roaches to death. Because there's a kind of shredding where you don't die from it. I don't know. Anyways, looks like Peasant wants to go on the offensive yet again. Nightmare has just been mostly defensive all game long, except for that Dark Templar counterattack. Now, has he made... Okay, good. He is making a Spore Crawler and Spine Crawlers there. Will he do so here? Would be great to see him, at least at the ramp, throw down some there, but looks like he's not chosen to do so yet. Ooh, here we go, and the armies may meet in the middle. And Nightmare's army is just looking so tiny compared to Peasant's. Peasant is macroing very nicely, nearly max. Ooh, but he could lose a lot of Infestors here for absolutely nothing, but Nightmare does decide to pull back. And he really shouldn't have, because he could have killed a lot of those Infestors. But it looks like he wants to get his entire army home just to defend. And Peasant going to break down those rocks and crash into the 3rd. And this is looking pretty dicey for Nightmare, as he just doesn't have that much stuff. He's going to need very, very good force field control in order to deal with this. He does have a decent number of cannons, and here we go. The entire army pushing on forward. Tons and tons of Roaches. Some decent force fields going down, pinning back Roaches. A lot of Roaches on attacking, but Funkles are going down on the entire army, and a bunch of infested Terrans actually make that a ton of infested Terrans getting thrown down, and they're just going to clean up everything. Nightmare can't do anything about this. Infested Terrans deal so much damage, and they're just soaking up some damage too for those Roaches. And yeah, all he has left now are some sentries. They die pretty much instantaneously. And I think this is curtains for Nightmare. He's trying to reproduce Immortals, but it's just not going to be enough. This Peasant just has a bit too much stuff. But he's still trying. He's warping in some DTs, but there are 2 Overseers attached to this army. So those are not going to succeed at all. And yeah, this Overseer just cruises forward a little bit, checking things out. Looks like Peasant doesn't quite want to deal with the finishing blow yet. And oh, looks like he lost this hatchery here to DTs due to the backstab. So could be he's a bit concerned about that. Wow, did the DTs do these spawn? Okay, they do have 1 kill. DTs kill hatcheries so fast, man. That is crazy. Oh, man. Anyway, so... yeah, Peasant's just going to hang back for the time being. I really feel like he should push forward, because at this point he could win. Actually, you know what? He pretty much has it won. Nightmare is, for all intents and purposes, mined out. And he has blown just so many minerals on cannons. You know, this is overkill. You don't want to make this many, because if you do, your standing army is just that much smaller. And we've seen that in almost every engagement. The Protoss army has been significantly smaller than the Zerg army. And while that usually is the case, not by that much. So there's my pro tip of the day. Don't make this many cannons. You know, unless you scout your Zerg opponent and they're doing a 1-base Roach all-in, don't make this many cannons. Anyway, Peasant's going to swing forward now, just now starting to pick off units. And swinging on forward to victory. Nightmare throws down the GG. Still in the game, though. Peasant throws down the GG. and Nightmare quits out of the game. So thank you guys for watching my video. I do hope you enjoyed it. Thank you, Dirtypeasant, for submitting that video to me. I do appreciate it. Please do like, comment, and subscribe. And also check out the description below. There is a link there to my battle.net forum thread where I discuss all the little projects I'm working on or planning to work on, as well as information for how to submit games to me. So, yeah, thank you for watching, and I will see you guys later.